Why is reading important?
Reading helps us learn new things.
How does reading help our imagination?
Reading helps us imagine different worlds.
What are some fun stories to read?
Fairy tales and adventure stories are fun.
How can we start a reading habit?
We can start by reading every day.
What is a good place to read?
A cozy corner or a quiet library.
Who can we read with?
We can read with our family and friends.
What can we learn from reading nonfiction books?
We can learn about animals, history, and science.
How does reading make us smarter?
Reading helps us gain knowledge and vocabulary.
What are the benefits of reading before bedtime?
Reading helps us relax and sleep better.
How can we choose books at the library?
We can ask the librarian for recommendations.
What is the importance of reading aloud?
Reading aloud helps improve our reading skills.
How can we make reading more enjoyable?
We can create a cozy reading nook.
What are the benefits of reading comics?
Comics make reading fun and visual.
How does reading improve our language skills?
Reading helps us learn new words.
What can we do if we don't understand a word?
We can ask someone for help or use a dictionary.
How can we share our favorite books with others?
We can recommend books to our friends.
What are the benefits of joining a book club?
Book clubs help us discuss and share ideas.
How can we make reading a daily habit?
We can set aside time for reading each day.
What can we do if we can't find a book we like?
We can ask a librarian for suggestions.
How can reading books make us happier?
Reading books can take us on exciting adventures.
What are the benefits of reading in different genres?
Reading different genres expands our knowledge.
How does reading improve our writing skills?
Reading helps us learn new writing styles.
What can we do if we get stuck on a difficult word?
We can sound it out or ask for help.
How does reading make us more creative?
Reading sparks our imagination and creativity.
What are the benefits of reading during summer break?
Reading during summer keeps our minds active.
How can we take care of our books?
We can keep them clean and handle them gently.
What can we do if we finish a book quickly?
We can find another book to read.
How does reading teach us about different cultures?
Reading introduces us to diverse characters and traditions.
What are the benefits of reading in a quiet place?
Reading in a quiet place helps us concentrate.
How can we encourage others to read?
We can share our favorite books with them.
What can we do if we don't like a book we're reading?
We can choose a different book that interests us.
How does reading help us become better learners?
Reading exposes us to new ideas and information.
What are the benefits of reading in different languages?
Reading in different languages expands our horizons.
How can we keep track of the books we've read?
We can create a reading log or journal.
What can we do if we want to read more challenging books?
We can gradually increase the difficulty level.
How does reading improve our memory?
Reading exercises our brain and enhances memory.
What are the benefits of reading picture books?
Picture books help us understand stories visually.
How can we make reading a fun family activity?
We can read together and discuss the stories.
What can we do if we can't visit a library?
We can borrow ebooks from the online library.
How does reading help us become better thinkers?
Reading exposes us to different perspectives and ideas.
What are the benefits of reading poetry?
Poetry helps us appreciate language and emotions.
How can we create a reading routine?
We can set a specific time for reading.
What can we do if we want to read more books?
We can visit the library more often.
How does reading improve our focus and concentration?
Reading trains our mind to stay attentive.
What are the benefits of reading biographies?
Biographies teach us about real people and history.
How can we make reading more interactive?
We can act out parts of the story.
What can we do if we want to learn about different countries?
We can read books about travel and cultures.
How does reading inspire our creativity?
Reading exposes us to new ideas and perspectives.
What are the benefits of reading magazines?
Magazines provide information on various topics.
How can we make reading a part of our daily routine?
We can set aside a specific time for reading.
What can we do if we don't have access to many books?
We can visit the local community library.
How does reading improve our problem-solving skills?
Reading presents us with different scenarios and solutions.
What are the benefits of reading folk tales and legends?
Folktales and legends teach us about cultural traditions.
How can we make reading more engaging?
We can create bookmarks or make predictions while reading.
What can we do if we want to read books by a favorite author?
We can explore the author's other works.
How does reading inspire us to dream and imagine?
Reading takes us on exciting adventures in our minds.
What are the benefits of reading historical fiction?
Historical fiction teaches us about the past in an engaging way.
How can we make reading a part of our bedtime routine?
We can read a few pages before sleeping.
What can we do if we want to learn about animals?
We can read books about animals and their habitats.
How can reading books help us learn new things?
Reading books provides information and knowledge.
Why is it important to read every day?
Reading every day helps improve our reading skills.
What are some fun genres to read?
Adventure, mystery, and fantasy are fun genres.
How can we make reading a habit?
Set a specific time for reading every day.
Where can we find interesting books to read?
We can find books at the library or bookstore.
Who are some famous children's book authors?
Dr. Seuss, Roald Dahl, and Eric Carle.
What can we learn from reading biographies?
Biographies tell us about real people's lives.
How can we make reading more enjoyable?
Find a cozy spot and use a bookmark.
What are the benefits of reading out loud?
Reading out loud improves our fluency.
Why is it important to understand what we read?
Understanding helps us remember and apply knowledge.
How can we make reading more interactive?
Act out the story or draw illustrations.
Where can we go for storytelling sessions?
Libraries or bookstores may have storytelling events.
What can we do if we don't like a book?
Choose a different book that interests us.
How does reading help us improve our vocabulary?
Reading introduces us to new words and meanings.
What are the benefits of reading nonfiction books?
Nonfiction books teach us about the real world.
How can we share our favorite books with others?
Talk about the book and recommend it.
Why is it important to take care of books?
Taking care of books ensures they last longer.
How can we remember the books we have read?
Keep a reading log or write book reviews.
What can we do if we struggle with reading?
Seek help from a teacher or tutor.
How does reading improve our writing skills?
Reading exposes us to different writing styles.
Why is it important to read a variety of books?
Reading different genres expands our knowledge.
How can we find books that match our interests?
Ask a librarian or search online.
What can we do if we can't visit a library?
Borrow ebooks from online platforms.
How does reading help us relax and unwind?
Reading takes our mind off daily worries.
Why is it important to read before bedtime?
Reading before bedtime promotes better sleep.
How can we make reading a family activity?
Read aloud or have a family book club.
What can we do if a book is too challenging?
Break it into smaller parts and read slowly.
How does reading help us develop empathy?
Reading stories helps us understand others' feelings.
Why is it important to read in different places?
Reading in different places keeps it interesting.
How can we encourage our friends to read?
Share our favorite books and talk about them.
What can we do if we can't buy new books?
Borrow books from friends or swap with others.
How does reading help us learn about other cultures?
Books expose us to different traditions and customs.
Why is it important to read books with diverse characters?
Diverse books promote inclusivity and understanding.
How can we find books by our favorite authors?
Look for books written by the same author.
What can we do if we want to read a series of books?
Start with the first book in the series.
How does reading help us become better learners?
Reading expands our knowledge and understanding.
Why is it important to read for pleasure?
Reading for pleasure enhances our love for books.
How can we make reading a part of our routine?
Set aside time every day for reading.
What can we do if we don't have many books at home?
Visit the local library or read online.
How does reading improve our concentration?
Reading helps us focus and pay attention.
Why is it important to read books in our native language?
Reading in our native language strengthens our skills.
How can we make reading a lifelong habit?
Continue reading even as we grow older.
What can we do if we want to learn about science?
Read books about science and experiments.
How does reading broaden our perspective?
Reading exposes us to different ideas and cultures.
Why is it important to read books from different time periods?
Books from different eras teach us about history.
How can we create a reading corner at home?
Find a cozy spot and add cushions or blankets.
What can we do if we want to learn about famous people?
Read biographies about famous individuals.
How does reading spark our imagination?
Reading takes us on exciting adventures in our minds.
Why is it important to read instructions carefully?
Reading instructions helps us complete tasks accurately.
How can we find books about our favorite hobbies?
Look for books related to our interests.
What can we do if we want to learn about animals?
Read books about animals and their habitats.
How does reading help us develop our own ideas?
Reading exposes us to different perspectives and thoughts.
Why is it important to read books from different cultures?
Books from different cultures teach us about diversity.
How can we make reading a part of our outdoor activities?
Take a book along when going to the park.
What can we do if we want to learn about art?
Read books about famous artists and their work.
How does reading improve our critical thinking skills?
Reading challenges us to analyze and evaluate information.
Why is it important to read books by diverse authors?
Diverse authors offer unique storytelling perspectives.
How can we make reading a part of our travels?
Bring books along when going on trips.
What can we do if we want to learn about different countries?
Read books about different countries and their cultures.